Okay, this is Bill and Marg. They're going to tell you about when they were in PNG and what they did.
Off you go, Bill.
Well, first of all, to get to Papua New Guinea, I went to SOPA in Sydney and for 3 or 4 months, and Marg joined us down there. Then I flew just before Christmas to Port Moresby. I got out of the plane and I had the hot rain on top of me, and we did a 3-week course at Coquila. Marg joined us flew up after just before Christmas again, and we got on the plane and we went from Port Moresby to Lae, and then to Madang, and then to Wewak, and then to Wanimo, and each plane was getting smaller as we went. I saw him at the DC in Wanimo, and he said, "Look, you're going to be posted to Lumi, which is a little
in the Torricelli Mountains.
In the Torricelli Mountains, about 2,000 feet high."
And when was that?
That was in 1970. We got up there December 1970, just before Christmas. He said, "Look, get enough. You're going to fly in the plane. Fill up the plane with all your supplies." So he went down to the shops, down to the trade store, and bought about 1,300 kilos of gear, which was supposed to last us 6 months. And we flew into Lumi, and there was a little 18-foot airstrip, and we were allocated our house. We had nothing. They had to find all our gear was still coming behind us. We had no sheets, no cutlery, no nothing. It was all sort of found from somewhere, which we had for a few months, didn't we? From there, I did my first patrols into the I was an assistant patrol officer. I was a key up. I did a few patrols. My first patrol was a census patrol, and then I did a number of others, right down the Yai River onto the Sepik. And these people were in Lumi sub-district. There's 56,000 people. And anyway, after 2 years there, we'd had lots of things. We had the administrators visit, and a few other things happen. I think while I was there, I investigated them. No, that was the second year, and then we went on leave after our 2 years were up. We went down. When we came back, we had to come back to Lumi. When we got back to Lumi, we were allocated another house, a beautiful house on top of the hill, had a big veranda and everything. We were so happy there. Probably did another couple of patrols. I don't know what we did. And Marg was teaching at the Catholic Mission School, and got $24 a week, and on local officers' pay. And then I got the word that my old ADC said, "Do you want to go to, will you be posted to Bawani? Would you accept a posting to Bawani on the border with West Irian?" And I said yes, because it was like a promotion to me. By this time I was a fully fledged patrol officer, and off we went. We flew in, packed all our gear.
Just us.
Yeah, and also at Lumi in 1972, our son Jim was born in Wewak, and that's another story. But we all packed up and we flew directly from a couple of charters, I think it was. We flew into Bawani. It's a little airstrip, not real flash, in the swamps of the West Irian. We're about 12 miles from the border, 11 miles from the border. We had a nice little house there. We put a new veranda on it, and we used to have refugees coming in from West Irian. You had secret work, you had a lot of a lot of Indonesian insurgency and sort of chasing around. There was a rebel movement in West Irian, wanting independence for West Irian. So we were there for 2 years, and we were on our own basically. Except I went down to Moresby and did a assistant patrol officer. I was actually promoted. Was I promoted then? I don't know. Anyway, I did a magistrate's course in Port Moresby for 3 weeks, and at that time Marg flew to Brisbane, and our daughter Peter was born. I did all of, while she was away, I did the patrol of all the census 3 subdivisions. And she arrived back. So Peter wasn't born. She came down the steps of the plane.
3 weeks.
3 weeks after she was. I didn't know she was born for about 3 days. The district commissioner. I rang up the district commissioner and asked him what. He said I'd had a child, and he said I rang him up and I said, well, do you know what sex it is?
Because it's
And
called
he said,
Peter.
oh, I've forgotten. He didn't know, so I rang up on the Post and Telegraph phone. We found out that it was a girl. From then, we had a lot of incidents on the border, which got too long to talk about. Then we went on leave to Australia, and then when we came back, we were posted to. We flew into Moresby, and we were posted to West New Britain. To a place we didn't know where we were going, and we were put up in a hotel in Port Moresby, and they said there was no planes for 3 weeks or something. So I went into them and I said, look, got myself and wife, 2 kids, all my gear, that's work, and I got the airfares. Why don't we do a charter? So they did a charter. So we flew in a Beechcraft Baron from Port Moresby direct to Kimby, straight over, and as we knew we were going to Canterbury, didn't we? We had to go to Kimby. We went to Kimby, and we flew over where the pilot said it was in a big rainstorm. Rain was pouring down on top of the plane, and this Beechcraft Baron, and the pilot said, just underneath this is Canterbury.
The wettest place.
The wettest place.
PNG.
Oh.
We got something like 360 inches of rain a year, and anyway, we went into Moresby, into Kimby, and they said, well, I met the DC, I met the deputy district commissioner and so on, and then they said, well, get your gear ready, you're going around
On a boat.
to Canterbury, and so we went in, and I said, oh, we're getting a flight, we're going to fly us in. He said, no, you're going on the government trawler. So anyway, we had to go and buy all our stuff, and we bought all these boxes, 6 months worth of gear, all these tins of stuff and everything, and it was all loaded into the government trawler, and off we took. We were sitting on the back of the boat, having a few wines, and having no wines, we were having a few beers, looking out and thinking it's just like Cleopatra and Mark Antony going up the Nile, and we turned around the point up there
Into the
into
Straits.
the Video Strait, and the weather was just terrible.
It's shocking.
And anyway,
It's a miracle we didn't see it. The boat was
Anyway,
washed with water, huge waves
Oh.
coming over the top, crashing on us.
you go to the toilet and the water.
Oh.
All the gear was floating,
Oh.
and everything.
And anyway, it's through the night, and as we're sailing down the videos in the night, all you can see the lightning and light. I'm always look out the window and you just see these huge seas. Anyway, we did survive. Jim was, Marg was sick. We had Peter there. Jim wasn't sick, was he? Jim was. Anyway,
Doesn't matter.
anyway, Marg couldn't hold Peter anymore, and there was some PWD carpenters there, native people, and they held me, Peter, at the back while this was all going on. Anyway, we did survive. We got around the point, Papua New Guinea and Cape Gloucester, and because that's the south side of the island now, and it's the calm season there, and it's just beautifully calm, and we pulled cut in through the reef, pulled into a place called Sag.
And we all just lay on the beach.
We
The
slept at
crew,
the back of the boat.
everyone, all just lay on the sand. We'd have it.
And so after that, we had our rest, and then we continued on to Loom again, to Canterbury.
Most beautiful place.
Yeah, it was the best place.
Right on the coast, and just
Yeah, and
the coral and the fish, and just.
and that was probably our best posting that we ever had. The thing about the boat is they lifted all our cartons of stuff out. We got them all at the house, and we had still our gear took about 6 months to get there too. And,
At that stage, it didn't bother us if we
no.
had nothing, but
we were pretty well used to it. And then we're getting out our tins of whatever they were, baked beans or
powdered milk.
and all the labels.
Nothing had a label.
So
I had no idea.
You go to the pantry and say, "Oh, what's this?" And
Shake it.
a tin of two fruits or a tin of spaghetti or something. Anyway, we survived, and there's many stories about inside.
But Candrian's on a really,
Yeah.
really volcanic. There's big earthquakes
Yeah,
and
and,
7 we haven't. And you'd come out swimming, and you'd only go from here to the door there, and then she just went down into the black depth that you couldn't
wow.
Great
see.
deeps there. Great deeps about
Thousands of fish.
35,000 feet deep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's a big one of those massive big trenches,
Trenches, yeah.
come
Yeah.
right down past Asia and that.
but
Right on the land, and often the volcanologist would come and stay with us, and he's sitting there talking to me, and he said, he said, this is all just going to slip into the sea one of these days. Well, great.
Has it?
No, it's still there. It's
we
just,
had a big earthquake there, 7.9 or something.
You were
wasn't it?
away.
Yeah, I was away, and I was in a boat up the coast, 100 miles away.
and I couldn't find the kids because everything was going like mad, and the roads, the Coral Road, you're on the road, and the road just goes like water, like that.
And the coconut trees,
And I'm trying to find the kids and found them out on the road. And Jim's just hanging on to Peter because she was a little, Calva kid at Tom. He's hanging on to her by the hair. The road's going on. There's a little, the little native kids that they always play with his best mates. And God got them home. And then that later that night, they said there was a warning came through about a tidal wave for Candrian. You may, well, I just thought, we'll come up about a metre or so. And in the meantime, the Chinese storekeeper's wife, everything had fallen over in their shop. And she just said, oh, right, so she just left him to do it. And came down to me with a bottle of gin in the billum and got this tonic water. We just sat there drinking gin. Didn't even think to go up the mountain or anything with the kids. So, but the tide just came up probably a metre or two, but it didn't hit the house.
yeah.
So. But it was lovely. We
And
loved it.
when we were there, it was over 2 years we were there, and we had visitors. We had Michael Samari. We've had
Michael
Julius
Samari
Chan.
in the house. Yep.
Yeah, Michael Samari slept in Jim's bed, and we had a big moo that night, and
The fish would be so big, it'd cook all the fish and stick the flowers between them. And that was our time up there.
yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
We loved it. I would have stayed there forever, except it was not our country.
I remember because Jim, our son, he was proficient in. We had some lovely time down there, Pillow Island and down in Harroway and up at the Palingi, shooting cows and stuff for food. And Jim could speak, a lot of his pidgin English perfectly. I remember we were in the car with Michael Samari. We were going up to look at a bridge, and an old Lartoon native guy came across to the wagon and said, "Oh, you're Michael Samari, are you?" And he said, then Michael Samari could talk to him. I think I'm a bit confused there. I remember with Jim, I was up there with Eddie Burke, and Eddie Burke said to me, "What's he saying? What's he saying?" Anyway, because Jim just translated. So Jim just translated straight away before I could. Anyway.
And how long were you in PNG for in the end?
Only about 7, was it? 6.5 years?
Yeah, 6.5 years. Yeah, so we left there. We came back in '77. So
As I said, we would have stayed there forever. I would have, but it's not our country. They've had to make their own way.
Yeah, we had little kids as well. They had to get their school and so on.
I think they probably ended up having a better life there than they did here.
Oh, well, thanks very much. There's only so much memory on the phone, so I'll stop it here.